if you have learned anything about Nintendo on this channel, it's that their legal department, they don't mess around. They will sue you. They will find you. If they think you're being a pirate, a dirty, smelly pirate of their games, they will find you, and they may hit you with a lawsuit. If they think you're infringing upon gameplay mechanics that they have patented, they will find you. They will come after you, and they will sue you for money. I have had a run-in with Nintendo's legal department before via email. Nothing really came of it, but it was an interesting situation. I do know an individual who had Nintendo show up at their front door. Knock, knock. Open up. We have a file here of a bunch of information, of Discord logs. How did you get this game? Things like that. It was a very interesting situation. I honestly think that they are probably the most aggressive when it comes to protecting their IP as a video game company. If this was the early 2000s and the U.S. government went up to Shigeru and be like, yo, Shigeru, what's good, son? We got a little bit of a situation here. We need you to track down someone because we think this individual is pirating Game Boy Advance cartridges. Now, allegedly, they might have done something else, but we need you to find this individual, and their name is Bin Laden. I think within 48 hours, Shigeru Miyamoto comes out with like a spear, and on top of the spear is Bin Laden's head because they found him, and they got rid of him because allegedly he was selling Game Boy Advance cartridges. And really, that would have made more sense than finally finding him and then eliminating him and then burying him at sea instead of giving the American people the vision of this person's dead body to be like, hey, you can finally have closure on this situation. That's a whole nother situation, though, that we're not talking about in this video. We're talking about Nintendo. And Nintendo will hunt you down, and they will find you. And that's what we're talking about today. We got a little off kilter there, but that's the situation we're talking about today because we have some additional information about a legal proceeding involving an individual that was doing Switch piracy and how Nintendo found them, how they managed to track this individual down. Now, I will be linking a Nintendo Everything article in the description box down below. Should you want to read this for yourself, I'll be kind of summarizing what they say. The original article comes from a website called Game File, where they pretty much summarize some of this information. So, check them out too. But this involves a situation someone named James Archbox Williams. Now, James Archbox Williams was one of the two people that Nintendo was suing over Nintendo Switch piracy measures. But how did they find this individual? Well, this is where GameFile came in and checked out the case from the court filings and found a very, unique tale of how they found this person. So things began in 2023. Nintendo essentially hired a law firm called Mitchell, Silberberg, and Knupp, odd names, to investigate different online stores that were selling or allegedly promoting pirated Switch games or pirated Switch systems, hacked Switch systems that you could then load with your games on there, or maybe preloaded systems with that. So that led to the discovery of an individual named James Archbox Williams. And based on Reddit postings, including one in the Switch Pirates Reddit and one in a Phoenix community, the law firm learned that he lived near Phoenix, Arizona, and had attended Midwestern University. So essentially, they found Archbox's Reddit account, looked around at where he was posting and what he was posting, and put two and two together. A lot of people are very loosey-goosey with their online presence, and that always fascinates me because, it's very easy to find someone online and find out tons of information about them. So it's a situation where, especially if you're doing something that can get you in trouble, you should probably be a little bit smarter about that. So Nintendo's lawyers said they tied Williams to at least 2 Archbox-related Nintendo accounts towards the start of the year. Also, a Nintendo product lifecycle management employee tentatively identified Archbox as James Williams around the same time. So this wasn't a situation where it's just, Silberberg and Knupp looking around, digging around online for things. You have other Nintendo employees doing this. I don't think a product lifecycle management employee, I'm not sure if that's in their job description. I've never really heard of that job listing before, But we're taking other people and we're like, yo, find this dude, son. We got to find this dude who's pirating Switch games on a system that sold over 146 million systems, 64 plus million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it might have been 65. The next part of the story comes from Nintendo now having 2 email addresses for a James Williams in Arizona. So now they found emails of just someone with the same name that happened to live in Arizona. So with that information, a Nintendo employee went to the company's repair tracking system and found 2 repair orders from a James Williams that were for a shipping address in Arizona. So James Williams had sent in Nintendo systems, Switch systems, to be repaired by Nintendo under his government name with his proper mailing address of living in Arizona. So now we have another branch of Nintendo looking into this stuff, looking into these files and this information that they have. So then Nintendo sent Williams a cease and desist letter, which he signed for, saying, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. But this is a college kid, as we've established earlier. So he's probably scared out of his mind right now. He's probably never been in any situation like this before with legal stuff and cops. So according to the filing, he would comply and cooperate with any demands or requests within his control. However, he denied any infringements. It is also worth noting that Nintendo sent Williams one of his repaired items 2 days before sending the cease and desist. So they sent him an item, and then 2 days later, homeboy's hit with the C and D. Like, that's crazy, dog. That is crazy. That is some dirty work by Nintendo. Like, holy shit. To wrap everything up, Nintendo had to explain its detective work since the company said Williams since cut off communication and failed to plead his case to the court by the required deadlines. Because of that, they were awarded a default judgment. Nintendo needed to provide proof that it did what it could to get in contact with the person they blamed for pirating their games. So they basically hunted this dude down like a dog. Like they were like, yo, we're gonna nail this guy. They brought in several different employees from different departments to check things, and it's like, man, it's crazy. And you know, obviously this is a situation where Nintendo wants to make an example out of an individual, and I get it. They're well within their legal rights to do things like this. But I always have to ask this, and I always have to bring this up when talking about these piracy situations and, you know, illegal copies of games and stuff like that. At what point in time is Nintendo going to look in the mirror and ask the man in the mirror to change his ways? Because this is a problem that you have had for generations now. And at some point in time, you have to figure out a way to make this not a problem. No other video game company has ever had consistent problems when it comes to piracy besides Nintendo. So at some point in time, you need to start taking it seriously instead of just going after individuals, because essentially all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on a missing limb. Like, it's not going to fix anything. So I wonder with the Switch 2, especially considering that the Switch 1 is going, or the Switch 2 will have backwards compatibility with the original Switch. Does that kind of open the door up to piracy a lot more? Because they figured out the baseline Switch within a few weeks of it launching. You needed a paper clip. And then, of course, with that information, you were able to dump various things. You don't see this problem with PlayStation. You don't see this problem with Xbox. You know, I really think Nintendo needs to take these sorts of things seriously instead of just going after individuals. They need to put something in place to make it so that this problem doesn't even come up in the first place. But they hunted homeboy down like a dog. You should tell Nintendo that, like, somebody pirated NES cartridges, and his name might have been the Zodiac Killer. And they would probably find the Zodiac Killer, even though I don't think he was around during NES cartridges. I think that was the 70s. But still, you could tell them, and maybe they won't pick up on it. And they will find the Zodiac Killer, and they will let you know who he is. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. Do you think Nintendo was right to go this hard on it? Do you think they should have just been like, hey, stop it, pal? How do you view these sorts of situations? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. Check out the article in the description box. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.